Okay, now that we reviewed ellipses and how to figure out their equation, let's look at some graphing, okay? So first thing we gotta do is let's look at an equation. So let's look at 1b on the study guide, okay? It says 3x squared minus 12x plus 4y squared is equal to 0. This is not in a standard equation of ellipse. We can all agree on that, yes? So we need to complete the square and get it into the standard equation of ellipse. So first thing I'm gonna do is gonna factor out a 3 from the x's. And then I'm going to complete the square. And a lot of you forgot how to complete the square. You take the square root of the first term, divide the second term by 2, square it. 2 squared is 4. 4 times the outside, which is 3, is 12. Add it to the other side. And then divide everything by 12, so you get x minus 2 squared over 4 plus y squared over 3 is equal to 1. A squared is the largest denominator in ellipses, right? So a squared is equal to 4 here, and it's under the x term. So horizontal major axes. My center is 2, 0. And my foci are 2 plus c and 2 minus c, comma 0, right? So I need to figure out what c is. If a squared is 4 and b squared is 3, c squared is equal to a squared minus b squared, so 4 minus 3, which is 1. So I'm going to add, so c is 1, so I'm going to add 1 and subtract 1. So 2 minus 1, comma 0, 2 plus 1, comma 0. This is 1, 0, 3, 0. And the last thing we're going to do is we're going to graph, okay? So we know my center is 2, 0, so I'm going to plot that. So 1, 2, 0. And then in order to plot the ellipse points, right, we need to figure out our x and y points. And the way to do that is to take the square root of everything, of your a squared and your b squared. So if a squared is 4, a is plus or minus 2. So I'm going to count 2 to the left and 2 to the right because 4 is under x, okay? So 2 to the left, 2 to the right. There you go. That's it, all right? And then b squared is 3, so b is equal to plus or minus square root 3. Again, just estimate this, okay? So square root 3 is in between square root 1 and square root 4. So it's like 1.75-ish, right? So I'm going to go up square root 3 and down square root 3 because it's under the y term. And then I just connect. And so when I say label, I mean label a center, which is 2, 0, and then label each of these. So mark them. This is 4, 0. This is 2, negative square root 3, 2, plus square root 3, and 0, 0. And that's your graph. Okay, and so then let's look at one that's a little more complicated. So 2d, 4x squared plus y squared minus 8x plus 6y minus 23 is equal to 0. So first thing we got to do is get this into the standard equation of ellipse, right? So I'm going to get all the x's next to each other and all the y's next to each other. I'm going to factor out a 4 from the x's. And then I'm going to complete the square. So I get x minus 1 squared plus y plus 3 squared. It's 23. 1 squared times 4 is positive plus 4 the other side, and 3 squared is 9, so plus 9. This ends up being 36. So I'm going to divide everything by 36. I get x minus 1 squared over 9 plus y plus 3 squared over 36 equals 1. A squared is the largest denominator, so that's 36. So I have a vertical major axis. a squared is 36, so a is plus or minus 6. B squared is 9, so b is plus or minus 3. C squared is the difference of the two, so that's 27. So c is plus or minus 3 root 3. This means my foci is going to be the points in my center with the y-coordinates adding and subtracting 3 square root 3. So my center, if I'm reading off, is 1 comma negative 3. And so then I have 1, negative 3 plus 3 root 3, and 1, negative 3 minus 3 root 3. Okay? And so then the last thing I need to do is I need to graph, because I have everything I need in order to figure that graph out. So when we graph, first thing we're going to do is plot our center, which is 1, negative 3. Okay? And then A is plus or minus 6, and it's underneath Y, right? So I'm going to go up 6 and down 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then B is plus or minus 3, and that's X. So I'm going to move horizontally. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Like so. And then I'm going to connect. And I get my 0, okay? And so this is, label everything, 1, negative 3. This is 4, negative 3. And this is negative 2, negative 3. This is 3, negative 3. Sorry, 1, 3. And 1, negative 9. And that's our graphing for our ellipses.